right. Calling the meeting to order at 6:38 p.m. Is everybody ready?
Ready.
We're going to have to pull agenda number 3 because Bill's not here for his oath of office, so it should go pretty quick. Scott and
Move to adopt the agenda, short item number 3.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All righty. Let's look at our meeting minutes from March 11th. Or you made the motion to adopt, right? Sorry.
Yep.
I make a motion to adopt
meeting after
the minutes from last month. The approved
Did
minutes.
2 people do that now?
Or what? Adopt the minute?
Yeah.
Meeting minutes?
Just need someone to
Do we
second.
need- Oh, I'll second. Okay.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the March 11th, 2025 minutes. We'll move on to agenda number 5, park financial information.
This is your monthly update on the park financials. Nothing's changed in the park capital funds. We'll go over those more again with the park capital plan. Get this set up here. We're at 25% in the park maintenance budget. Oh, as long as I got this up here too, I'll show you, we got the year-end one we talked about.
Oh, okay,
last
cool.
month. We actually did go over by like $1,000.
Was that our fault?
It was just some late invoices came in. It was basically exactly 100%. So we spent $535,603, and our budget was $534,200. So
Good job.
That's
$1,400.
pretty good.
yeah.
I mean, we've done better in the past, but there's been a lot of repairs that have been made.
And a lot of pricing increases on items that
Yeah.
really weren't absorbed. We might have to, to do our budgeting for this year, we're gonna have to bump up a few of these to kind of cover some of those costs going forward, but, some of this is, like I said before, comes from our just overall public works budget, the street side of things, so we kind of look at the 2 budgets together when we're doing our department budget, and the street one was down by a significant amount, so between the 2, we still have a pretty good cushion on them, but.
The one that says building facility repair supplies, what is that?
So that can be anything from playground repairs, any repairs to the park buildings. It can be trail, sometimes like trail work comes out of there. Irrigation stuff comes out of that one, so anytime they have to work on irrigation, there's quite a few items that come out of that one.
Have you turned those on already, the irrigation?
No. We had pretty good frost usually it's right around Mother's Day we turn it on.
We really took it in the parts, didn't we?
In the motor vehicle parts,
Equipment parts.
229, where's that? Yep. We're doing a lot of that stuff in-house now, so if we contract it out, it comes out of
Oh, it comes out of different fund if you contract.
402, which we didn't take a penny out of that one, and so both of those 2, so that's 3,500, but that's all of the repairs for the equipment, yeah. Most of it's all done by our guys. And a lot of the Bobcat repairs come out of this one too, so a lot of that's public works, street side of things too, but the Bobcat gets coated here for the most part.
I think you did a great job with that.
Pretty darn good, like a 0.2% over
Yeah.
Not that he's doing the math or anything.
on a $500,000 budget. That's pretty darn good.
Used to do facilities.
So that was last year, and then we'll go back to this year. Nothing, like you said, nothing really surprising there. My mouse back. So this is our current one.
So we already are at 100% for the equipment replacement charges?
Yep, that's a one-time charge, comes out the first of the year.
Okay, cool.
So that covers the whole year. Same with the worker, 151, the workers' comp insurance premium. That's done for the year. Those are the two kind of big ones that's come out right away. Conferences and meetings should be that's only $500, but that one's done for the year too.
How are tires?
Yeah, we already spent that money.
Tires have gone up a lot in price. That was for one of the mowers, and I asked a guy, I forgot what the other thing was we bought. Oh, one of the trucks comes out of this budget too. It doesn't take much to get to $1,000 in
That was probably
tires.
just one vehicle, right?
Yeah, and if we have to do one of our tractors, which come out of the parks, those are $300 a piece for those tires. So we try and split those up every few years. We're in good shape on those. We don't think we'll have any this year, but next year or the year after, we might have to do a couple tractors. So.
Better to keep up on it instead wait and have to repair them all at once. So.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, do you need anything from us other than?
Nope, that's just informational. We don't need a motion on that.
All right, moving on to agenda number 6, 2026 through 2030 Park Capital Improvement Planning.
This is a continuation from last month's discussion, but the Park Commission prepares a capital improvement plan annually, which updates projects, projected projects, evaluates priorities, and establishes funding for these works for the coming year and for each of the subsequent years for a 5-year period. The plan is presented to City Council for their approval and used for preparing the coming year's budget. Attached is the draft 2026 to 2030 Park CIP. Developed from discussions at previous Park Commission meetings, we will discuss those projects that are listed for 2026 and determine if future projects need to stay in their current funding year or be rearranged to reflect any future changes in our park priorities. Other projects can be added and existing ones can be deleted if there's a need for restructuring the schedule. And if the Parks Commission is satisfied with the draft CIP, then a recommendation can be made to City Council. So I kind of put together from our discussions at mainly the last meeting and included updated amounts. So going into 2026 for the Park Acquisition and Development Fund, this is the one where we get from park dedication fees. We're projecting around $333,000 going to start off the year with that account. Just to kind of give you an update too, currently we got the money from Elevage for that development that's being built right now. It was $124,000, so that's included in that. Viking Meadows, the total cost is $373,500, and they have $70,500 already dedicated. So that in 2026, that additional $303,000, that's the remaining money from Viking Meadows. So that bumps it all the way up to $636,000. I mean, a lot of that's going to go towards the Viking Meadows Park itself, but it's in pretty good shape. We also have 3 outstanding developments that haven't paid yet that are just kind of getting started that the Park Commission voted to take park dedication fees on. That was Hidden Pines, Prairie Hills, and that Blanco, I forgot all the rest of Blanco to whatever it was. That was just $6,000 for the 3-lot split. So that's an additional $70-some thousand. So that fund is in it's the best shape it's been in
Decades.
that I've ever seen. So.
Wow.
So the big projects we have planned there, like I mentioned, with the Viking Meadows project, I have right around $350,000 dedicated towards that, which is most of what they submitted for their park dedication fees. And then we've got the Booster West ball field lights. That's a big investment, something we can talk about. I know Tim had found a possible city that was selling some lights that might be a possibility, but we're kind of keeping our eyes open for something like that to try and cut that cost down and get some used.
Are we
ones in
still
there.
looking at advertising on the boards out there?
It's been discussed. We don't have an official policy on it yet. We're kind of focusing right now on trying to get as much advertising at the ice arena as possible, but a couple of them have said they'd like to put a banner on the outfield fences too.
Okay.
And then for 2029 and 2030, I don't really have any projects planned. We didn't really have anything in mind as a group, so I just kind of left those blank for now. And that'll depend on development and park dedication monies on those, so it's hard to project out that far.
I think that's when we were kind of talking about what to do with Bondi, maybe.
Yep, so on the next page is our park capital fund. And I do have Bondi listed in 2029 as new park development for something to do there. And that can be moved around if we see a priority where something comes in and we really need to see a park developed. I think that would be a good, we can move that up to as far as 2027, even 26 if we wanted to. I also show for the sources, this comes from a transfer from the general fund. We're requesting an increase of $10,000 each year to kind of cover rising costs and needs for the parks. I capped it at 150, but if we want, if the park commission wants, we can keep going up on that request. It's up to what you guys think.
Wait and see.
Take whatever we get.
Maybe we could just say
Exactly.
10,000
Yeah. I would
rider.
say maybe.
I'd keep going.
Bump it
Yeah,
up to 160.
I think we
for-
said 10,000 is what we were gonna ask for anyway.
So just go to 160 and 2030 there then, on the revenue side?
Yeah,
I would think
That's
so.
an easy.
I mean, that might not even be enough
Yeah.
by 2030.
God only knows. Where we're headed.
I know we're looking at tree planting, but since most of these parks don't have water for irrigation, should we be looking at shade structures instead?
We can, we do have a water truck. After the first year, we do water them quite a bit, and then if we get into some dry periods, we'll send our water truck out too, but yeah, they're sometimes hard to get established. We try, and the smaller trees are actually easier to get established than some of the larger ones, but the problem with the small trees is they're easy to vandalize too, so it's kind of a trade-off.
They make great swords. We learned that from our
Well,
yard.
We had all these nice ones out in Booster East, and I had a buck out there and he used it to do its antler rubs on a lot of them, so there's a couple of them are pretty shredded.
I understand 100%.
They get your yard too?
Oh, yeah, him and friends.
It was a pretty good sized buck living out there this last fall. I don't know if it survived through the hunting season, but.
I saw
Or
it
the
other
cars
day.
on 221st.
Still around?
Still there.
Yeah. So for 2026, we talked about most of the stuff is kind of smaller items for Booster West specifically. We've got a zip line, doing some official pickleball courts over on that side. We do have 2 of the cornhole bags already in place, but we're going to put out there this year. The sand volleyball court, which was mentioned by the young lady who was here last month, Maya, yep. I got quotes on that. I put 5,000 in there. They're actually, it's quite a bit cheaper than that. We can do that for pretty cheap for the posts and the netting. I think it'll be right around 3,000 for that. I just put a couple thousand extra to cover maybe some sand, hauling some sand, and
Well, and we don't know what it's like if you have to compact it or something, right?
part of the problem too, after talking with some of the guys that have been here a long time, there used to be a sand court over, kind of where they used to do the tractor pulls over there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice spot, but if in volleyball the ball goes outside the court a lot, and if you're playing barefoot, it's all sandburrs around there.
Yeah, because there's no water.
Yeah, so the hard part with that would be finding a spot. It may work better to put it in Booster East somewhere where the grass is a little bit nicer and a little more shade. We don't have sandbur problem in Booster East at all.
What?
That open, not like that open area over there. Booster East is pretty decent turf compared to Booster West.
Could probably put it over by that cement pad.
That's what we were looking up there maybe. It's kind of nice to have it wherever all the action is, because then people will use it, but I don't know, it's
Yeah,
kind
right
of
in
a
the
trade-off.
picnic area.
Yeah. Nobody really uses the horseshoe pit anymore either. I haven't seen anybody use those in quite a few years.
I think it's one of those dying games.
It's one of those cyclical things. Somebody, like shuffleboard, you never hear about it until somebody all of a sudden it takes off and then everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
The bags, I think, kind of took over the
Yeah,
Yeah.
horseshoe
the
group.
horseshoes.
Yeah, horseshoes are a couple generations old.
Yep.
2027, looking at some pickleball courts in some of our smaller parks. I've got a couple in mind that people have requested. We can kind of, as we get closer, we can kind of pick through that to decide where we want to put
Are we
those.
just looking at the parks that already have tennis courts to do that?
Most of the places that we have tennis courts, those courts are beyond repair. They need to be removed and replaced or to start over. We have Anderson Lakes, Wild Rice Drive.
Yep.
That's concrete and it's cracked and busted really bad.
Yeah, that was the one where we found the picnic bench inside
Yep,
the
somebody
basketball court.
somehow got the picnic table up over the top of that thing inside.
Oh my gosh.
They use it for
Whispering
dump-
Aspen, that is a tennis court there. That one's a little bit better shape. We're gonna try and resurface that one and just paint lines on that one. But I've got requests for like Evelyn Park and some of these smaller neighborhood parks. There's a lot of people that really wanna play pickleball.
Well, how much would the 90,000 cover?
We figured about 15 to 20,000 a piece, so.
Oh,
Quite a few.
Depends if we do blacktop or concrete on them.
What holds up better?
Concrete, if you do it right, holds up better, but it's hard to get it right. Blacktop, if you have a crack, you can repair. Concrete's hard to repair.
I was gonna say concrete, if there's a freeze and it bumps up, then it just crumbles, right?
Yeah, you can't patch it very well. I was gonna hit up some of the companies that do it and kind of pick their brain on what they say is the best way to do it. And might have to contract at least the pad itself out. Our guys can do the net install and all that stuff, but. And then if we wanna put fencing around them, some of them just have fencing on one end. The pickleball doesn't go very far like a tennis ball where it would shoot off for a couple hundred feet sometimes.
Right.
What else? We talked about a couple disc golf goals, doing a couple in Booster West next year and a couple in Booster East the following year. We have some Booster West drainage and fencing upgrades. If you've ever been out there, you notice after heavy rains, we get a lot of lime washing out. Trying to repair some of that. We might try and do some of that with our maintenance budget too. Ham Lake has a paver that we're gonna try and borrow and do some overlays on a couple of our trails that are falling apart out here with our own staff, and then maybe try and pave some of that area around the bleachers in Booster West where the washouts are. So that one might come off the list if we can do it ourselves, but 2028, we're looking at a full overlay of Booster East parking lot. That thing's getting pretty beat up. We patch it and whatnot, but at some point we have to do an edge mill and overlay on that. 2029 is Bondi Park. 150,000 in there, depending on what we decide we want to do in there. I've had a request for a medium-sized grass baseball field from some of the youth sports teams, so they could really use that. Not as big as our Class A, more for the middle-aged group of kids. So
Is there irrigation at Bondi? So
No.
we'd have to
you
put
have to
that
put a
in,
well,
right?
irrigation, power, so that would be part of it. Yep. And we had that in the budget at one time when
yeah, we did.
We
we
did.
met with.
We should do that.
When we
one of
met
these
with the
days.
soccer
Yep.
people.
Okay.
And they said they didn't want to use it, so we pulled that off, but yeah, we did have that in there at one time. And then 2030 is kind of the same thing with Booster West. That parking lot over there is going to need some work. Any additions, subtractions, movement anybody recommends or heard from anybody in the community?
What about the concession stand? Do we need to do anything with that in Booster West? No?
We do some of that with our maintenance repairs.
Well, I know that there's refrigeration and stuff in there. Do we need to do anything with that?
So the refrigerator itself was purchased by the SBAA, so we don't cover any of that. We've had vandalism over there. They busted the countertop off pretty bad. The roof's still in good shape over there. We're gonna take care of that little irrigation shed ourselves. We're gonna redo that with our maintenance budget, probably in the fall of this year. Yeah, the concession stand, it's kind of just maintenance, painting, kind of keeping up on that. We've replaced a couple toilets in there. The partitions are okay. The sinks are okay. They're kind of grubby, but a lot of that can come out of our maintenance budget, kind of pick away at it.
What about like the bathrooms at John Anderson? Do we have to worry about those at all? That big building?
Kind of the same thing as the one out here. Siding has been damaged again on that John Anderson one. I don't know if you remember, a few years ago, we put vinyl siding on there. It looks really nice for a while, but kids throw rocks at it. They tried breaking the windows with a brick here over this past 6 months, so. No, I don't know if any big capital projects would be needed there. It's mainly just maintenance stuff. The roof is okay, the shingles are good on that.
Anybody else?
Did we say we were gonna go there on our tour? and
Yep,
try to
we can
see
look at it, yeah,
Okay.
we can walk out and look at it and show you
Okay.
the graffiti.
Shame.
No, I think that looks pretty much like what we talked about last month. You move the stuff around the way we asked you to.
Looking at the 2026 beginning balance, we're kind of starting from scratch there, just kind of let everybody know too. And that depends a lot on what the Baton Trail comes in at for pricing too, so. Worst case scenario, we might have to borrow a little bit of money from the park if we go under, if it goes over. I think we had 100 and,
You had the
20.
180, didn't you?
I got the last month here. Yeah, we had 120 budget for that project. And then 20 for John Anderson. So depending on those two come in, we'll depend on what that 10,000 is, but we also have, we're gonna try and resurface Whispering Oaks. So that's shown with that already removed, that 10,000 too, so the tennis court there.
All right, you don't need anything from us on this, right?
Recommendation, if you want, with the change to 160,000 in 2030, and we'll bring this to city council then when we do the budgeting stuff, so.
All right, anybody want to put a motion
So
together?
moved. I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion's been made to add $160,000 as our money for 2030
2030,
Yep.
at 10,000.
at 10,000.
Add 10,000.
Add 10,000.
Or add 160 to the 150?
Oh, that'd be
I like that
great.
better.
We could do that.
Might not be able to slip that one by.
Well, you never know.
Worth a try.
All right, can I get a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it.
So moved.
So moved. We're moving on. All right, Tim Miller isn't here tonight, but we will do the Agenda 7, City Council reports and other business.
Yeah, Tim couldn't make it. He wanted to thank all you for all your hard work and to keep up the good work. And if anybody had any questions, to reach out to him. For us, we're in full go gear. Parks they're gonna open up the ball fields probably next Monday for baseball, so it'll be packed out here again. And looks like the weather's changing, so we've had a lot of rentals at the ice arena for dry floor. The baseball leagues specifically has been up there just about
For
every night.
batting cages?
They do
Throwing?
soft toss and throwing, pitching and stuff.
Are they doing any lacrosse there now?
No, we
Yeah.
didn't have any requests for lacrosse this
Okay,
year.
'cause I know that's.
In the past, we've had that.
Other places, but-
Andover Lacrosse was wanted it, but they have I think it must be the field house over there now that they've been using at the
Oh,
community
yeah.
center. And St. Francis doesn't have a lacrosse program, so. But we've taken in more revenue than ever at the ice arena for dry land events, so.
Yay,
I
finally.
think moving in-house with the management has done a lot, right?
Jason's has a lot of connections with, he grew up in the hockey association, he's worked in that building, so it's made it a lot better. We did lose some revenue from East Bethel, or not East Bethel, St. Francis Youth Hockey. They lost 3 of their teams because they had a drop in participation. So there was some rental sales that were lower this year from them specifically. We did pick up a lot of ice time from other communities, Mounds View, Andover rented a lot. North Branch should have more next year again. And the girls' hockey team was practicing a lot at Isani this year, where they normally were at St. Francis.
All right, because it's 3 schools to band
Yep.
together, so.
So the ice sales were down a little bit, but we've had we didn't have hardly any negative comments about the building. It looks really nice when it was in there. So I think it's been good for the city. And it's saving the city capital. $60,000 to the taxpayers of East Bethel is coming out of our tax budget being paid for by the youth hockey organizations too. So it's actually saving the residents money of East
That's
Bethel.
what we like to hear.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's great.
What else?
Town hall meeting?
Town hall meeting the 24th, Thursday. If anybody's interested on that, 6 to 9 again. I think it's gonna be the same format.
Starts over at the senior center and moves into chambers here.
And then we talked about doing the June parks tours. Everybody still on board for that? I'll get a bus lined up and
We might be gone.
second week of June. I think Bill will be gone.
Let me look at our calendar.
We could
Look
do
at the
it
calendar, honey.
in May too, I suppose, if that would work better. We've typically done it in June just because it's lighter out longer, but it's usually pretty light in May. And we usually start a little bit earlier. Usually we'd go at like 6, I think.
We're going on a little vacation around our anniversary.
Let's see.
Yeah, we're gonna be gone. We leave this 8th. And I think the June is the 10th for our meeting.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
We probably won't have a July meeting. What do you want to try and do it in May? A tour?
We can, because we'll be in a bus, so even if it's raining, we can still
Yeah.
see out the window.
We'll be here for that.
Sure.
That would
We can
work.
keep it kind of short. I
The
know.
13th?
It's the
Yeah.
13th, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll plan on that. I didn't hear from Bill on May, so he might be able to be that one too.
Let
That
me
might-
know, because I might not be able to do the steps into the bus.
We'll get you.
Well, they have those lifts, so maybe.
Yeah, I can check on and see if they have,
Heck, going with that.
We'll get you a little
Easy
princess
access.
chair. and
Push
you
her
can-
up.
You can stand on Tim's shoulders and Al can shove you in.
Such a challenge.
What time will that start? Should we start a little
we'll
early?
probably say 6. Does that work for everybody?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
So May 6th.
May
Try and keep it
13th. No, I know,
somewhat
at 6
close, so we're not
p.m.
driving all over the
I
place.
meant May meeting 6.
Bondi, John Anderson, any other parks anybody wants to see?
Do we need to go to like Rod and Norma Smith or any of those Outer Banks?
I'll do some thinking on that. If anybody has any requests, you shoot me an email. If there's anything anybody wants to see.
Will we meet here?
Yep, we'll meet here. We'll hop on the bus. We'll do a quick start in here.
Do we need to look at Fish Lake at all? Because we haven't been there for a while.
That's not too far to get up if we're going around this north side.
Did you get a call? I think it was Rod Norma from Connie.
Yes.
Asking about-
Yep,
Okay.
yep, got her all squared away.
Great, thank you.
Yep,
I had a couple other little things.
yep.
Porta potties, when are they coming in? I-
Usually in the next couple weeks here, they'll be out.
Okay. And then, the adopt a park for the Memorial Day?
Yeah, I got your message. I was gonna ask you, we can, if you wanna do it after me. So
That's fine.
Bonnie,
The-
you need to speak into your.
when they adopted the parks down in the Coon Lake Beach area, that one wasn't listed on there.
So it was on our end?
It wasn't on the application, and I was looking at the property record. It's not officially a park. It's a tax forfeited property that the city owns. It's kind of been turned into Memorial Park, but I don't know if we need to go through an official process to have that named a park, or if we're okay doing it how it is, but
The city owns the property though,
yeah,
right?
it's a tax forfeited lot from, we actually have quite a few of them down in Coon Lake Beach. They're kind of mixed throughout the neighborhoods down there, and
It's being discussed to possibly, we talked about it before, doing a brick walkway
mhm.
from one to the other. And that's why I was wondering, because originally I had said that we were gonna adopt all three, and
I mean, I kind of assumed that you guys adopted that one because you've done all the work in there.
Right. So we're all good?
Yeah,
You can just
I
say
mean,
we-
no one else is gonna be adopting it or anything,
Right,
so
yeah.
it's kind of already your guys' responsibility for a lot of the stuff in there, so. But if they want it officially on a proclamation, I guess we could go through that process too, but I think, like I said, I don't know for sure if it's officially a park. It's still listed as just city property, but
Interesting.
it wasn't
If
park
we did all
dedication.
that, if we did all that and then put a walkway with people's names and did that whole thing, it wouldn't all of a sudden,
Be sold out from under?
Yeah,
or this.
That was the only thing I'd be worried about. I
Yeah.
don't, park that, tax forfeit property can be auctioned off at some point, but
right. So maybe we need to do something
Yeah,
formal with
how-
the city
to
council.
make it formal.
How do we do that?
I'm not sure. I was gonna look more into that.
Yeah,
and
that'd be
It's
interesting.
never, I don't know that it's ever been done, but we have a lot of those
I
properties.
think the assumption
Yeah.
was that it had already happened, but we kind of learned that in years past,
That didn't happen.
that didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Things that we thought happened hadn't
Yeah,
happened.
because, I mean, I personally thought, and I don't know if you were here or not when that whole thing came about, but it was designated as a memorial park. So maybe we should move through with
Yeah.
it a little bit.
Must have been
I think we should
unofficially.
just make it official and get
Start
the
with that,
stamp.
yeah.
Yeah, see what it takes to do that.
Before you guys invest a whole bunch more and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're sorry to tell you.
Yeah, I don't think that would happen, but if it's officially parkland, then it makes it a lot harder.
We've seen many things that we never thought would happen that have
'Cause we
happened.
can't sell, once parks is dedicated, it can't be sold. It can be given back to the developer, but it cannot be sold or
Because there has been a
transferred.
resident there that said, had we known, we would have.
Purchased it, tried to purchase it. There's a couple property, there's one going up for sale on the end of, I think is it Forest or Elm? The little stub, I think it's Elm. But the county owns that one through tax forfeiture and it's up for auction. Either it just sold or it's gonna be up for auction shortly.
You don't
So-
have an address, do you? I'm curious.
I can pull it up quick on a map.
Was it
Actually,
on-
I
was
can
it on
show you
Lincoln
what.
Oh,
Street?
I wonder if it's on Forest. Has it
It's
got-
down on the end, the roof's collapsed, got holes
Yeah,
all over in it.
That's next to Delbert on Forest. on
Oh,
the
way
very
down
end-
there.
On the very end of Forest Road.
Yep.
On the south end of Forest.
Yeah. Yeah, trying to remember who lived there.
Yeah, I'm not sure where, just
It's been
curious.
abandoned for
Yeah,
a while.
for
but-
several years, yeah. And it shouldn't have been lived in the last several years he lived in it, so.
Who's next to it?
Who's the guy with the really thick glasses?
Mike.
Ugly Mike, yeah.
He's
Mike.
in a home though.
Yeah, but that was
he-
his
he-
house.
that
That's
was
where he lived.
Oh, it's Mike's.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So do we need to make a motion or anything to get that whole thing started?
No, I'll keep working on it and,
I would feel really bad that so much time and investment has been put in and then to find out that
Thank you, I would
Snatched.
too, because,
It looks
Yeah,
really
it
nice.
could be just some
It's really
Little
special.
glitch or
Sorry,
somebody
okay.
raising.
all you need
stink.
is a whole turnover and
Yeah,
then,
Yeah.
right, and it could go
Somebody
away.
raising stink and getting the
And-
lawyer involved and
Yeah.
boom.
Might make it more valuable for us, though.
Yeah, maybe.
for the investor, you mean?
So do we have to start raising money for this in the community so that we can donate money for doing it?
for what now?
I'm just being facetious.
It should be covered by the city because it's city
I'm
property.
just- I'm just being facetious here.
But
The only-
Don't put that in the minutes.
when you guys do the bricks, will you be charging for those? I guess we should,
It's just being tossed around.
okay.
It wouldn't be a
As a
fundraiser.
fundraiser?
It would, no,
Okay.
it's not necessarily, well, no, it wouldn't be a fundraiser, it would be more of a, kind
Nice.
of like everything else.
Well, it's a memorial park.
Yeah.
so.
We are doing something where a little money might be, we're looking at a calendar where a little money might be going that direction, possibly designated. but-
Well, if it's a park, we can put more money, right? Because it'll
Yeah.
be something we own instead of
Right.
splitting it with the seniors and that kind of thing that we've done in the past.
yes, it must have been back a long time ago that it was taxed for. A lot of those were in the 30s, I think.
Well, I remember who used to live there, and it was a dump.
On the, where the Memorial Park is?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that was terrible.
It was a dump, and they were,
So it wasn't that long ago then?
It was in the 80s,
yeah.
probably.
No, because
We've been out there a long
this
The
shows-
Memorial Park?
No,
that
No.
property.
Well, yeah, where the Memorial Park is.
There was a little shack on it and this,
Marv and.
what was her
Boy,
name?
that's been a long time.
Yeah, that was in the 80s, I
Well,
think.
we
is
moved
when
out
they-
there
Yeah, I'd say probably
in
the
80. You were out there earlier, but, yeah. And
Yeah,
that was
those-
after that.
All right, anybody have anything else to add for, no, city council meetings? I would,
Motion to adjourn?
sure. Motion's been made, do we have a?
Second. I'll second.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we
Aye.
will adjourn.
Quick
Okay.
meeting tonight.